I'm talking to you women, younger women that have been through a lot of challenges in your life and that might need a little bit of uplifting by some people like me and other women like me that have been through a lot of challenges and today feel like they're in a different place where we can help others. So I want to share with you my story. I was born in Morocco and I grew up in an environment that I was very unfair to women. They were controlled by men. They didn't have the opportunity to get an education and they just had no freedom. And that's how I've seen a lot of women growing up. It started with my mother. She was forced into an arranged marriage at the age of 14 and she stayed with my father for over 14 years and there was just abuse. There were never really love and respect and mutual respect and honesty and loyalty and all that. It was just abuse. The men were telling the woman what to do and that's how it was. So growing up, I saw all of that. I saw how women were treated, but of course I was too young to understand different. And so when my dad divorced my mother, I was 1. He had enough of women around. And so he kicked her out and she had to go back to her parents with 4 children. And her father had different women as well. And it was allowed in my country back then to have different women. And so the new family of my grandfather did not accept my mother to come back to the house. And though many more years of abuse continued, and once again, I watched that going on. Until one day, my mom had an opportunity to move to Europe to help her sister, and she took that opportunity. But my father, who wasn't with my mom anymore, was against it. And he said, if you want to go, I'm taking the children with me. And he cut the pages of her passport, took the children with him, except me, because I was a baby and he didn't want to get bothered. But also, I was a girl. So my mom went on to Europe and her own and only focus was to get her children back. So she went on and I've seen my mother being a strong woman. She did her best to raise me, put me in school, and she did everything she could to fight for her children back in Morocco. In the same time, she got remarried with this other man that was worse than my dad. He was a violent, abusive, alcoholic man, and for 5 more years, the abuse continued until we were saved and put out into a women's shelter. And then again, I watched all of that going on, and I've watched my mother put on the role of mother and father, and she did her best to shelter me for everything she's been through. And there's a time in your life when you realize that you have a choice. You can either be a victim or you can use all of the challenges that happened to you and make it an inspiration. And this is what I did. So I had the privilege to have a good education. I went to school in Belgium and I learned different languages. And then eventually I made my own way here in the United States. When I came here, I was barely 21 years old. I didn't speak English. I didn't have any money. I didn't know anyone, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted to reach out success. But what was success really? I didn't know. So this idea came up where I wanted to interview people about success because I didn't really know what it meant. Did it mean that you need to have a lot of money? And if so, how much? Did it mean that you need to have a certain status? And if so, what level? Everything was so different. So I started this project called Self-Made Successful Women, where I interview women about success. And at first, I just wanted women that were really accomplished, especially financially, until I realized that a lot of people are financially wealthy and terribly unhappy. And it was not my definition of success. I knew that to me, success meant happiness as a whole. So I started interviewing these women, and the project is to interview 100 of them about their own definition of success. And it's very interesting because till today, I never had one woman that gave me the same definition of success. is so different for everyone. So today I encourage you to watch these videos because they're very informative, very interesting, but most importantly, they will influence and inspire younger women out there in the world that can't afford to have a life coach, that can't afford to talk to certain people. And that might just help them to connect with some of these women's stories. They are just amazing.